During the height of the 1960s freedom movement, Jamaica and other Caribbean nations were surging to independence, and their nationals' travel to Jim Crow Miami was causing all manner of problems to the United States, compelling Washington to realize that retreating from the more egregious aspects of Jim Crow was the better part of wisdom. Brenda Gale Plummer has written well about the impact of the early stages of the Cuban Revolution on our freedom struggle, though a fuller exposition of the relationship between the Black Panther Party and Havana is needed and is capable, I would hope, of being researched soon with the inevitable relaxation of tension between Havana and Washington that I believe will be occurring shortly. Black American exiles have also found a home in Mexico, and given that in 1810 one had a profound regime change in that nation, and yet another in 1910, we should pay careful attention to the southern neighbor in the run-up to 2010. Certainly we need more extensive research on the Plan of San Diego, promulgated almost 90 years ago by Mexicans allegedly in league with Japan to reclaim the territory of the United States West and Southwest seized by Washington in 1846, and in the process liquidate the Euro-American male population, but not the female, and construct instead independent Black and Native American republics. In light of the precipitous drop in the U.S. economy, we can now see retrospectively that the freedom movement attained its most significant gains during the heyday of U.S. imperialism. The question for the future is what will be the fate of this movement in the 21st century that most likely will be dominated by Asian nations like India and China, or at least an enhanced role for these nations as the recent G20 summit suggested. Will blacks in the United States revert to their past concept of transnational citizenship, highly appropriate in a globalized world? This brief survey, and I'm coming to a close, also reflects two perspectives. Given that blacks in North America have been under the jurisdiction of Europe longer than the jurisdiction of Washington, it behooves us to go beyond purely national histories and interrogations in order to fully understand the trajectory of our movement. Second, blacks above all should welcome the reduction of U.S. sovereignty that the 21st century portends, since we have made our most significant progress precisely when the sovereignty of Washington has been circumscribed. An appropriate point to make, I think, as the G20 in London just debated global regulation of capitalism, as opposed to the miserable failures of domestic regulations embodied in the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, which have brought this nation to its knees. It should be evident that African American history desperately needs a new narrative that incorporates the global. Finally, a point of personal privilege. As in a number of southern states, April is Confederate History Month. And even this lovely campus is scarred by the presence of a monument a stone's throw away, hailing those who sought to overthrow the United States government in order to perpetuate slavery. And in light of the op-ed piece in the New York Times this morning talking about this overheated, hyperventilating rhetoric on right-wing news about overthrowing the government, the rise in arms sales in the United States since November 2008, I don't think we should blithely take in an unserious manner the idea that monuments exist that basically celebrate the attempt to overthrow the U.S. government from the right. Quite frankly, I see little reason why the public should pay much attention to what professional historians have to say as long as they are quiet about the contemporary fabrications and misrepresentations of history that continue to befoul the environment in which we all have to work. In short, we run the risk of having less credibility in discussing history than a random high school class in Chicago, unless we speak out vigorously against such monstrosities. Thank you.